For the synonym definition concentration word game, first a teacher needs to choose a book that you're going to read with your students as a class. For my activity, we're doing the Percy Jackson chapter book for a 5th grade or 4th grade class. And as you're reading the book or each chapter, have students choose words that they find difficult, and then you yourself as the teacher choose characters, definitions, words that you want to use in some of your lessons and you want your students to remember for tests and quizzes or just general information about the book that's important. And you're going to make matching synonym or definition vocabulary cards with their definition that matches. So for the Percy Jackson book, I used characters and vocabulary that goes along with the book. So like we have Pegasus, they look like this, they're just little small cards, and then Pegasus, winged horse that flew above the earth. So after that, as you're reading, you're going to explain the vocabulary and then make a note to make the cards, and then you're going to make the cards, and then you're going to lay them flat, all facing down so you can't see the definition or the vocabulary term or the synonym that it's paired with, and you're going to spread them all out facing down. And then students are going to flip one over and flip another one and see if it matches, and then they're going to keep flipping them one by one and try and pair the ones that go together. And then once they've paired them all, they can mix them up and restart. So I have laid all of the cards out face down so that you can't see the term or the definition. And then students are going to flip one. And this is the definition side. So 9 daughters of Zeus and Nemesis, each representing a different art. So students may already know the term that goes with this, and if they do, great. They can say it out loud and acknowledge what it is, but they still have to like flip over the other ones. This is Phoenix, so it doesn't match, but they can still turn them around. There's a few versions of ways you can play this where you can turn them all around one by one and then pair them off. So right now I'm just turning them around so I can read all of them. So like we started, the 9 daughters of Zeus, each representing a different art, is going to pair with muses. So they can put those together and put them off to the side. A bird that could set itself on fire is a phoenix. So put them together and take them aside. Winged horse that flew above the earth is Pegasus. And then you keep going till it's done, or you can play to where you flip them so they start all facing to where you can't see. And you flip one and it's Achilles. So you flip another one, a giant who could hold earth and sky on his shoulders. That doesn't go together, so flip them back. And then this is Greek warrior who could only be killed by a wound to his heel. That's Achilles, so I matched those right. Amazon, maybe this one. Female Greek warriors who were powerfully built and ferocious. I got that one right. So if you did 2 that were wrong, well, those ones right. So let's just say I did the wrong one. Like Atlas was the son of Zeus, and that's not right. So I'd flip them over until I found the correct term that matches. For the synonym definition concentration game, I really like it because I think it could be used cross-curriculum. You wouldn't just have to use it for English or language arts classes. You could use it for history or science. So for history, you could pair famous people in history to who they are and information about them, or you can use it for dates and battles, etc. And then for science, you could use it for science vocabulary terms also, or you could do like body parts or different things like that. So if you were studying the body, you could have pictures of different bones or organs, and then the definition that matches with it. So you could use that cross-curriculum. For assessment, you could do this informally through center activities, free time in class or even in your small group instruction times for students who may be struggling with specific vocabulary. So when students are doing these centers, or when they're doing it in their free time, or just as part of a lesson after you're reading a chapter, you can kind of go around and make note of who's finishing the activity really fast, because if they are, then they know the vocabulary and you know they have it down. If you notice certain students are taking a longer time to complete it, they may be struggling, and you could see if maybe the definition is too complicated for them and they need a different synonym to help them, or further explanation in the definition. And then this is also good that for students to take home and work on with their parents, or even for practice to study for a test or quiz. This activity is also good for bilingual students or ESL students, because a lot of the times they struggle with vocabulary, and this is a vocabulary synonym heavy activity. And studies show that vocabulary, when you have a built-up vocabulary and you're learning more terms and they're locked into your long-term memory, you're more of a proficient reader. So this activity helps with reading fluency, reading comprehension, phonemic awareness, and whatnot, because they're able to spend less time trying to figure out what words mean, because they know them and they can just continue reading and eventually become a fluent reader. And I think this would be really, really good for the ESL students, because they're obviously struggling with learning the language, and a lot of the struggles also in reading text and whatnot. So you can really tone in to what specific words and maybe even conversational phrases they're struggling with, and use this activity to help them build upon it and move it into their long-term memory.